Echo. Oh God. Okay, my head is so not here right now. It's like I'm all over the place. Let me tell you all what is going on. First of all, welcome to Mashup Talk. Welcome to summer camp weekend here on the Booty Mashup channel, and I am ready for summer camp in Germany. As many of you know, my partner is actually Jupiter Gatling, the famed marathon queen of this channel, the first DJ on Twitch to DJ for 25 hours, not 24. Yeah, someone did that before her. We didn't even know about it. First 25-hour continuous DJ stream on Twitch. That's our story, and we're sticking to it until somebody tries to prove us otherwise. But anyway, I'm in a relationship with Jupiter Gatling, and we have been separated. She's based in Berlin. I'm based in San Francisco, and ever since the corona apocalypse started, literally 2 days before we started our Twitch channel, she flew back to Berlin. I was supposed to catch up with her a week later. And then, I don't know, a global pandemic happened. Imagine that. So we have been separated for 5 months. And literally, as of this morning, we sort of had a game plan, and then we had a different game plan. And then as of this morning, everything changed again. Germany is going to allow unmarried couples to be reunited starting on Monday. You don't need to. The law was before, the rules were you were allowed into the country, from like the United States, and you wouldn't have to. You weren't allowed, basically. A U.S. passport is not not worth shit in 2020. Nobody wants us. And the only way you could get around that is if your family was in Germany, but, because we're not married, we're technically not family. Well, there's been a whole movement via Twitter and Facebook and through social media channels, hashtag love is not tourism, hashtag love is essential. And it's been a movement, and Jupiter and I have been very much on top of it and like keeping tabs of everything of like, is this going to happen? Can it happen? We don't know. And we really did not expect it to happen for a while. So we had this whole other plan. I bought a plane ticket. I was going to sneak in through Hungary. That started on July 15th. Hungary started allowing U.S. travelers into Hungary if you could provide 2 negative COVID-19 tests within a 48-hour time period from the previous 5 days. However, if you did not have those tests, then you could also quarantine for 2 weeks. So I was like, fine, I bought a ticket to Budapest, and then we'll work it out from there. But as it turned out, my original flight was through Zurich, Switzerland, which was not allowing Americans in. So even though it was just in transit, we were a little worried that, that might not work. So then I ended up changing my plane ticket. And thankfully, in the age of COVID-19, in the corona apocalypse, most airlines do not have change fees or any kind of penalties for changing your flight. So United Airlines was like, yeah, no problem. So changed it to London because I know that the UK is allowing US travelers. And then I booked a separate plane ticket from London to Budapest nonstop because I want to spend as little time on an airplane as possible. So it was nonstop to London and then from London to Budapest. And we had this plan all sorted out. We had a place to stay. There's this amazing mashup video VJ duo called Video Disco who are based in Budapest. These Hungarian VJs, friends of Booty Mashup. I've hosted them. They've guest DJ'd at Booty San Francisco, Booty LA, and they're great guys. And they also, apparently, one of them runs like a little Airbnb side business. So he was gonna like set us up with a place to stay for 2 weeks, like because whether I had the negative COVID-19 tests or not, we figured it was probably better to at least prove when we come into Germany, if we get stopped, at least I can prove, hey, look, I've already been in the European Union for over 14 days. I'm cool. I'm cool. I know it's a U.S. passport. I know I am an ugly American, but I'm one of the good ones. I'm cool. I've already been here. So, and I mean, it was like, actually, it's not just getting across the German border. It was literally from Budapest. We were going to drive from Budapest to Berlin, which is traveling through Slovakia and then Czechia and then Germany. So it was going to be like 3 borders of like, maybe this is okay, but we don't really know for sure. I mean, that's the thing with traveling right now, especially as an American. It fully depends on who you're dealing with, who's working who's working customs at that point. Are they really nice and they want to like take pity on the cute queer couple, they're just trying to see each other, or are they going to be transphobic assholes and go back to America, you dirty ugly American? So and it's literally up to simply the person checking your passport, and because the laws and rules are so like willy-nilly, right? But literally as of this morning, like I woke up and Jupiter is texting me, and I was like, and then we got on FaceTime and it's like, it's happening. So I'm like, wait, so we don't have to go to Budapest? Oh man, I love Budapest. And Budapest is a beautiful city. I was kind of looking forward to 2 weeks in Budapest, but it's safer all around to just be like, you know what, let's just go straight to Germany. And so with any luck, like knock on wood, I'm worried I'm jinxing it just talking about it right now. I've been a little bit on the DL, not really talking about it too much because I'm just so worried that this wouldn't even happen. But yes, on Monday, I am flying to Germany, to Berlin, to be reunited finally after 5 months with Jupiter Gatling. So, woo! Come on, chatbot, give me some heart emotes here. I really, really hope it happens. Of course, you won't know for sure until next Wednesday when I do Mashup Talk, and if Jupiter Gatling pops in behind me, then you'll know for sure. Or if you follow me on social media, Adriana Booty, spelled just like Adriana, spelled just like booty. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You will hopefully. Thank you, everyone. Oh my God, this looks amazing. Thank you. Yes, I really, really, really hope it happens. So that sort of brings us to today's Mashup Talk topic, which I'm glad. I kind of already did a lot of the work in advance because, as you can probably imagine, like this morning I was like changing plane tickets, not flying to Budapest. Now I'm like flying to Frankfurt and then flying to Berlin, and had to get in touch with Video Disco, the VJ duo from Hungary, letting them know that in fact we weren't going to be there, but thank you so much. And it was just like a lot of like plus on top of that, I mean, I'm pretty much done packing, but I'm trying to clean. I'm trying to like deep clean my apartment because I'm hoping that I could sublet my apartment because I'm hoping to be gone for 3 months, so or longer. So if anyone wants to sublet a beautiful apartment in downtown San Francisco, close to public transit, close to everything, with booty mashup posters hanging up everywhere and great artwork and just soak in the Adriana presence, then get in touch with me because I'm looking for a subletter while I'm in Germany. Because as much as I love I love all the subs, I love the Patreons, I love it all, but oh my God, it is not quite paying all of the bills. So if I can get some help with the rent, that would be awesome, especially since I'm not here. So I'm hoping I can sublet. But anyway, so with all of that going on up here right now, I am a little like this right now. I'm a little spun. So fortunately, for my DJ set tonight, I'd already had my like sort of like summer camp, summer fun playlist kind of like already prepped. I know you guys are going to give me requests, and you know I love requests. And thankfully, the story I'm about to tell is already written down. So, the story of how Jupiter Gatling and I met. So, I posted on the 8-year anniversary, which happened on April 20th of this year. I posted a story to my Facebook and my Instagram of how Jupiter Gatling and I met. And then it was like kind of a part 1, part 2, part 3, because we met in Berlin and then we met up again in, well, you know what? I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it was in several parts. And there is a producer of a storytelling show here in the Bay Area. Her name is Dixie De La Tour, and she does body storytelling, which is like, basically, people telling stories on stage in front of an audience of, just fun sexual adventures or misadventures, or, anything that kind of like has like sex and romance and fun things like that. And, the body, BAWDY. So she read my story and was like, I really want you to perform this. And I'm like, well, you're like, when? Like when the corona apocalypse is over and I can be on stage again? And she was like, no, we actually do a private Zoom party. They don't do it on Twitch because as you can imagine, a lot of the material for body storytelling is erotic and sexual in nature, so they can't really do that on Twitch. It would violate terms of service. So they do private Zoom events. So she helped me kind of rewrite it, make it a little bit more story-like, and was really, really helpful and kind of like nailed it. And then I performed it. I mean, I read the story for body storytelling, and then I was like, you know what? The chat pod like 2 weeks ago, when Jupiter Gatling and I were on Mashup Talk, someone in the chat pod asked, tell the story of how you two met. And, what the chat pod wants, the chat pod gets. So we're like, okay, I will tell the story of how we met, but let me do it like right before, like, because at that point I knew we were already planning to like reunite finally. And so I was like, let me tell the story like on the Mashup Talk right before like I fly off to meet you in Europe. So here we are. Are you all ready for the story of how Adriana A met Jupiter Gatling? And by the way, it is booty mashup related because we met at Booty Berlin. All right. Okay, it's for real now. I'm putting my glasses on. Those of you who tune into my to Mashup Talk don't usually see me in glasses, but if you are here for my Mashup listening party on Wednesdays, I'm always rocking the sexy librarian look for that, because it's a lot of chatting, it's a lot of like digging up stuff. It's like so yeah. All right. Oh God. I love seeing everyone light up in the chat pod. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. All right. So here we go. It's story time. So there I am. I'm on tour in Europe, and I'm on stage at Booty Berlin, and I'm finishing up a DJ set in front of about 800 people by singing a live mashup of, those on this channel certainly know we love this song, Mashup. The mashup is Closer by 9 Inch Nails with Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. It's a live mashup that I often do with my live band, Smash Up Derby. But in Berlin, I did it karaoke style, and I step off the stage, and all of a sudden there's this cute girl in front of me, and she sort of looks like, well, she looks like Jupiter Gatling. But Jupiter Gatling dressed up like a pirate. I don't know who this girl is, but I'm like, oh, great, somebody dressed up like a pirate. And she tells me that she loved that song that I just sang. And I'm like, the one that goes, I want to fuck you like an animal? And she cocks one eyebrow, and she gives me this very flirtatious look. And I'm like, oh, boy. I can already tell that this girl is trouble with a capital T. So we chit-chat a bit, and then she asks if I like boys or girls, and I say both. And she's like, and she smirks, and she's totally not scared off. And I realize I really need to squirm away from this situation before it escalates. So, you see, I'm not exactly alone on this tour. I'm supposed to be at this club with, let's call her Misty, my longtime DJ partner, business partner, and partner. Except that she stayed back at the hotel because the night before in France, she stayed up all night partying in a manner that tends to keep you going up all night, if you know what I mean. So we barely made it to the airport, and by the time we landed in Berlin, she was too sick to DJ that night, and she blew off what was supposed to be a duo performance, as A plus D, and turned it into simply a solo gig starring me. So anyway, there I am. I'm at this nightclub, and I keep running into this random pirate girl. And we'd flirt for a bit, and then I'd scamper off. And eventually, several Hefeweizens later, for those who don't know, Hefeweizen is a particular German beer that Jupiter and I both apparently share a mutual taste for. And I finally gave in, and I'm like, follow me. And I led us up to the upstairs girls' bathroom where we crammed into a tiny, dirty, nasty, graffitied bathroom stall. And I proceeded to have the hottest makeout session of my life. I mean, we're talking tongues down each other's throat, hands all over each other. I mean, you can fill in the rest. So I'm like, after a little bit of that, I'm like, okay, wait, what am I doing here? Who is this girl? We had just met. I mean, all I knew was her first name. And mind you, this is her actual first name, not the fake name that she usually gives strangers in nightclubs. And I knew she was Ukrainian. So after the hot makeout session, we leave the bathroom and we separated. And a few hours later, the party's winding down, and I have not seen hot Ukrainian makeout girl in a while. And I figure, well, it's just one of those crazy nightlife moments that one often has in my line of work. And, Berlin. So as I'm leaving the club, spilling out the back door into the bright light of the morning, who do I see hanging out outside? It's hot makeout girl. So I kiss her passionately goodnight before getting into a taxi, and I say 4 words that will forever haunt me. Have a nice life. Oh, clubbing in Berlin. I fucking love that city. And its reputation as the nightlife capital of nightlife capital of Europe. Is not without good reason. Because somehow, despite being too sick to DJ the night before, my partner Misty suddenly feels well enough the next day to go out clubbing. And let's just say that one of us partook of the nightlife scene a little more than the other. So, as you can imagine, this wasn't the healthiest choice, and Misty ended up sick for the next 2 days with this naggy, scratchy feeling inside of her ear, which was making her crazy. So crazy that, because we didn't have any Q-tips in this fancy boutique hipster hotel that she booked us in, because it had all the decorations but none of the amenities, so no Q-tips. So instead she takes a square of toilet paper and a pencil and pokes the inside of her ear to scratch it. And the next morning she wakes up with a small puddle of blood on her pillow, and worried, she scrambles to find an urgent care center in Berlin, and a doctor gives her the bad news. She had ripped a small hole in her eardrum. And when she told the doctor that she's a DJ, she's on tour, she plays in loud nightclubs, she's got 5 more flights left, he looks at her sternly and said she has 1 flight left, and it's back to the States. Otherwise, she could risk having permanent hearing damage. So she flies back to San Francisco, and I finished out the tour without her. And yet somehow, this will give you a little snapshot into our relationship. Somehow this was all my fault because I didn't pack Q-tips, and the stupid hipster boutique hotel she booked us in didn't have any either. And let's just say that taking personal responsibility for her actions was never Misty's strong suit. So in this relationship, by this point, I was pretty used to everything just being my fault. Like, for instance, when she landed in London for a layover, she proceeded to send me hours worth of angry, insulting text messages. I mean, my phone is just blowing up, right? Calling me a stupid idiot because I didn't pack her phone charger in her suitcase. By the way, spoiler alert, I actually did. She found her phone charger the next day after she landed in San Francisco and unpacked. So anyway, this sort of toxic interaction is, well, at that time, it was pretty standard, day-to-day, run-of-the-mill. I really didn't take it to heart. I mean, but I got to admit, like, after a day of not being around Misty, I found myself breathing much easier. I'm not going to lie. I mean, even though I could barely admit this to myself at the time, I was so glad she had left the tour. I mean, the next 3 gigs were just going to be so much easier without this anxiety-inducing energy. So there I am. I'm in the middle of a DJ set at Booty Munich, and it's this nice basement club, a little posh. And then I look up, and I see her, the hot Ukrainian girl I had made out with last week in the bathroom at Booty Berlin. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, I'm literally doing the hand gesture where you rub your eyes and then opening them again because I can't believe what I'm seeing. And so I waved hello, and then I sang a live mashup, and then I just couldn't wait to finish my DJ set. Like, who was this girl? Little did she know, I'd been thinking about her in that hot bathroom makeout session all week. Just like a nice little tour memory to revisit. But what the hell is she doing in Munich? So as soon as I finish my set, I run over, I'm excited to see her, and we went to the back lounge area where it's more quiet, and I'm like, who are you? What are you doing here? And it turns out she's only Ukrainian by blood and by birth. She's actually been living in Germany since she was 3 years old, and she had just moved from Munich to Berlin when I'd met her last week. So she was already planning to return to Munich this weekend to visit friends. So after that night in Berlin, she Googled me, as you do. And she saw that I was playing in Booty Munich the next Friday, and she decided to come to this club with her cousin in tow. And even if I was like, okay, stalker, she at least knew the music would be good because she already loved mashups. And let me tell you, she looked gorgeous in her red dress, and we just could not stop talking. And the conversations just flowed freakishly easy for 2 people who had barely met. And then we couldn't keep our hands off each other, and we tried recreating the hot bathroom makeout scene, but this club in Munich, like I said, it was more posh than the one in Berlin, so we got kicked out by the stern Hausfrau bathroom attendant pretty quickly. And after the party, my host was used to having a flat full of drunk friends crash over at his place, so it was totally no big deal to invite this random girl and her cousin to come over. So we curled up together on an air mattress in the living room while her cousin slept on the sofa, and we quietly talked, and we quietly made out, and then we quietly went further than that, let's just say. And let me tell you, this is so out of character for me, okay? I just need to throw that out there. I was already in a relationship. I'd never done this before, and I'm not the kind of person who just hooks up with strange girls I'd just met for a one-night stand. But I don't know. It was like European YOLO. I mean, you only live once. But, full disclosure, the sex wasn't even all that good. It was like that quiet, don't wake up your cousin who's right there. Kind of, it was that kind of thing. So, but, there was something there. We knew we had unfinished business because, we only got 2 hours of sleep and then she left. But we exchanged numbers so we could WhatsApp later. And, in just case you want to, meet at a beer garden or something, we kept it real vague and casual. But, of course, we meet up for a beer later. And right before we part ways again, we're standing on the curb, and I revisit a slightly drunken conversation we had had around 6 a.m. while we're there canoodling on the air mattress. And even at the time, I knew this was a pretty crazy idea. And I'm like, what if you met me in Budapest? Now, this is not the first time I've manifested a crazy drunken idea into reality, but this was definitely the craziest. Like I said, I'm not like this. I don't do this. And despite what my ex has understandably said about me, I'm actually a very loyal person. I mean, otherwise, how could I have stayed in such a toxic, abusive relationship for so long? And yet, here I was, on my own for the first time in forever, plotting a secret, clandestine international affair with some younger girl I had literally just met. This was not like me, and yet I could not stop myself. So after Budapest, I had a day off, so I suggested flying her out from Berlin, this girl I barely knew, so we could spend the last day of our tour together, or my tour. And apparently the feelings were mutual, because otherwise why would she go along with such a crazy idea? But she didn't know me either. I could have been some psycho or something. But instead she agreed, and I got to live out my before sunrise fantasy. For those who don't know this movie reference, Before Sunrise is this beautifully romantic 1995 Richard Linklater film. It's about a 20-something American traveler in Europe who meets this French girl on a train and convinces her to get off at his stop in Vienna so they could spend the day together before he flies back to the States the next day. I love this movie, Before Sunrise. Look it up if you have never seen it. But anyway, so it was sort of like that. And we spend an utterly magical 18 hours together in this beautiful city, talking for hours over beers while I was sitting at an outdoor cafe and taking a romantic boat ride along the Danube at night and hanging out at the cute boutique hotel where we were very busy, let's just say that. Like busy in a very loud and amazing way, like in a way that we did not need to be quiet because your cousin is sleeping right there. And and throughout this whole thing, I'm just constantly taking mental pictures in my head because I know I'm never going to do anything this crazy ever again. And to the point where by the time we were hungry and wanted to get food, we couldn't because it was May Day and so many of the places were closed for the holiday. So, oops. Oh, well, spent a big chunk of the day in the hotel room, whatever. But so we didn't eat anything at all. It was just like beer and infatuation were our only sustenance. So, needless to say, I did not sleep at all that night, and I had to leave for the airport at 6 a.m, and I just wanted to soak up as much time with this amazing human. And I assumed that this would be the only time that I would ever see her. I mean, after all, I had a life and a relationship to get back to in the U.S. And so, like I said, European YOLO. Crazy one-time only rock star fling while I'm on tour, right? I'm just being a character from a 90s romantic indie film, right? But on the flight back to the U.S., I knew something had changed. Misty and I had not been in a good space for a very, very long time, and yet we felt stuck with each other. I mean, not only because Booty Mashup was our baby, as we always said, but our respective livelihoods were so wrapped up in running a business together, and I pretended that the pros outweighed the cons, although in hindsight it's obvious I was just trying to justify all the reasons to stay in a bad relationship. And many months of marriage counseling had done little to fix the myriad of problems we were dealing with, including depression, codependence, substance abuse, subconscious transphobia, not to mention the bits of physical and emotional abuse that neither of us dared share with our therapist. But this European YOLO moment, it snapped me out of that cycle of abuse. And it took years to carefully unravel both my personal and business relationship with Misty. But that hot Ukrainian girl from Berlin who I had a torrid international affair with, she's still in Berlin, and I'm still here in San Francisco. And despite the corona apocalypse forcibly separating us, we celebrated our 8-year anniversary, and it is the healthiest, most harmonic relationship I've ever been in. And, yeah. To be continued. I don't know who follows me on social media, but if you do, you actually know how this continues, because today is another 8-year anniversary, and it is the 8-year anniversary of the very first time that Jupiter Gatling came to the United States. Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear that? That was parts 1, 2, and 3. Do you want to hear part 4? It's much shorter. Okay. All right. No, I'm not gonna make you tune in next week. Don't worry. Okay, so here's part 4. So I'm like, text me when you wake. I have a drunk idea. So that was what my WhatsApp message said to, the aforementioned hot Ukrainian German girl I had met at Booty Berlin while on tour in Europe. And after our illicit 17, 18-hour hookup in Budapest, I flew home, back to life, back to reality, back to a toxic and abusive long-term relationship with my business partner. Ooh, boy, I did a bad thing. But I obviously needed an escape, because soon after, Jupiter Gatling and I started secretly texting each other, like almost immediately. And she really became kind of like my emotional refuge. I mean, we slowly got to know each other via WhatsApp. And then a month later, I came up with this drunken idea again. All these drunken ideas. To clandestinely reunite, only this time in the United States. So I was already planning to go to Las Vegas to geek out at the Classic Gaming Expo. I love classic games. It's amazing that I have not actually started an Atari 2600 side channel on my own personal channel to play Atari games, but I honestly don't think anyone would give a shit about Atari 2600 games in the year 2020, but whatever. And just like what I assume 99.9% of the Twitch audience would have zero interest in, my partner at the time, of course, had zero interest in a classic gaming expo. So I was like, I was going to be on my own, but then I was like, why not fly this girl halfway across the world to meet me in the US, and then we do like a little mini road trip to the Grand Canyon and then return for Classic Gaming Expo. Just a scandalous 6-night international affair with some girl I had a 2-night stand with in Europe. Sure. And like, even at the time, I knew this was borderline crazy and ethically horrible. And yet here we were. So Jupiter and I spend the next 6 weeks scheming via WhatsApp. We're both excited and nervous. And we even, formulated a contingency plan just in case it turned out that the feelings weren't ultimately mutual. I mean, I didn't want her to feel obligated or pressured into anything she wasn't comfortable with. And this was obviously a bit of a gamble. I mean, like, who does this sort of thing? Like, certainly not I. I'd never been in this situation like this before. For me, infidelity was only marginally exciting. It's mostly just nerve-wracking. And yet I was insanely compelled and could not seem to stop myself. Oh, yeah, I feel like that song in Hamilton. Yeah. Please, Lord, let me say no to this. But no, I could not say no. So as she drove the... sorry, I'm skipping ahead. I'm reading. So 8 years ago today, we secretly met in Las Vegas, and as fortune would have it, we both landed at the same terminal, and so I was able to be there the minute she stepped off the jetway, and we lock eyes with each other, and I swear my heart skipped a beat. Seeing her in the U.S. like 2.5 months after our sleepless, crazy night in Budapest, and it just felt utterly unreal. But this weirdness melted away almost immediately, and talking came just as easily as texting, and soon we're hand in hand running around Las Vegas that night and on our way to the Grand Canyon the next day. And as she drove the rental car through the desert, because of course I let her drive, I felt like I was in this magical bubble world away from all the harmful negativity and subconscious unhappiness that I had gotten so used to with my life back in San Francisco. Like, here was this amazing human being who I not only shared an insane attraction to, but also this really weird, strange connection. And it felt just like being on drugs. It's like this dopamine rush of lust or love. I mean, it was way too soon to be calling it love, but you could tell that, in hindsight, the seeds of our bond were obviously there. But at the time, it's also sadly clouded by this complicated, toxic relationship that I was subconsciously trying to unravel myself out of. So we have a beautiful 5 nights together, 6 nights. And the night before we parted, after we got all dolled up to go out to a gay bar, and I look at ourselves in the mirror, and I'm like, we make a cute couple. Okay, now some context here. We had been together less than a week, and this was obviously just an affair. So what the fuck, Adriana? Too soon. But there was obviously something palpable there. And the next day at the airport, we literally have one of those like cinematic Hollywood movie goodbyes as I slowly watch her in the distance, like, and I'm waving as she goes through security and then walks. And it's like we're keep turning and waving until she's finally just out of sight to go hop a plane back to Berlin. And I fly back to San Francisco with nothing more than sweet memories and a few photos, which somehow, despite thinking that I had deleted these photos from my hard drive, my ex found them 5 days later in my IMAX trash can. Like the ghost image of the images, because I could have swore I emptied the trash can. I don't even know. But either way, I know it's because she knew my password, logged in, dug through my computer, looking for, she didn't even know at the time. It was just looking for whatever was causing her sixth sense to tingle that something was up. And she was not wrong. But that is a story for another time. All right, so there's the story of how Jupiter Gatling and I met. So is it time to actually Skype with Jupiter so she can fact check. Let's call Jupiter and let's get some fact checking. And also she was keeping up with the chat, so I don't even know. Hello. How are you?
I am. Let me see. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you. You're big. I don't know why you're big, but
What you mean I'm big?
You're bigger on my screen than you were when we like tech checked this because.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, something's up these days with Skype and
OBS
or Twitch. Maybe you need to change to FaceTime or something. How's my microphone? Is it a good microphone today? Is it a bad microphone today?
I think you sound okay.
I sound okay. You know what? Let me double check anyway.
Okay.
How my shit sounds.
Okay.
Audio- und Videoeinstellungen. Okay, no, this should be a good microphone. Is it a good microphone?
No. Oh, there we go.
Is it a good microphone? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think you sound good. I think you're okay.
Okay, great. So, gentle disclaimer here. Since we crazy where I would pick you up and fucking drive you countries and pretending you're not even there. Or who the fuck?
I know. It was like our original plan was so Soviet era, Cold War, DDR, East, but sneaking me into East Berlin instead of sneaking me out. Like, do we build a secret compartment in the trunk of your car? Like, what?
Cutting out. Can?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear on my end.
Does not.
Oh no.
I froze really.
Oh
no. I did freeze, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
chat. Let me see. I'm gonna try closing. I'm gonna try closing. I'm gonna close Twitch here in a second. I think that might help. I think it'll help.
You can also calling me maybe.
No, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close the web browser. So because I see the chat now over there on the side. So let us know if that sounds better. Skype is being stupid. I know.
Skype's being stupid.
Let us know how that is, because I hear Jupiter Gatling just fine. But yeah. All right. So until ChatPod says otherwise, Mastermind says it's a little better. Okay, good. It was you guys. It was having a damn web browser open with Twitch. All right. So fact check. How we doing?
Okay, so let me fill in the blanks of all this. Hi, it's me, hot Ukrainian makeup girl. So let me retell the story in short from my point of view. Also, gentle disclaimer, what I wanted to say, since I was planning on picking you up tomorrow, and I was about to, like, my friend Lutz, who you people maybe might know from my birthday. It's like my magical bestie who brought me food during my very long marathon I did on my birthday. So he was supposed to give me his car so I could go to Budapest, quarantine there for 2 weeks, and bring you back home. So he was almost on the way downstairs. I was basically on the fucking way to Budapest as I see everyone's texting me screenshots from Seehofer decided German unmarried couples can now come in. So I'm like, oh my God, that means I'm off today. I don't have to drive to Budapest tomorrow. You will arrive here in a few days. I can get wasted tomorrow. So I'm a little drunk.
Yeah, and actually it was like because of the way the plane flights worked, I'm now flying 2 days later. Yes. So I'm like, okay, I wasn't planning on drinking because I thought I was going to be, after my live stream DJ set, I was going to have to scramble and do last minute cleaning. But now I can get drunk too.
Woo! Yeah, my entire plan was doing this mashup talk, then getting downstairs, get into a car and drive away. But
crazy.
Oh well, instead I had some beers. Okay, so let me retell the story from the point of view of hot Ukrainian makeup girl. Okay, so hi, it is me. I just moved from Munich to Berlin, and I just went out and had a few drinks in the absinthe bar next to the house that I lived in. And I remember walking to the bathroom, and in front of the bathroom, you always have this flyer stands where you have flyers from clubs in the city. And I see this weird half and half mashup face. It catches my eyes. I look at it. It was, I believe, Blondie and Katy Perry. I look at this like, a mashup party? You are fucking kidding me. There are mashup parties in Berlin? And I just moved from Munich. Before that, I grew up in a small city. So I'm a bit of a, it was my first time in the big city, if we're being honest here. Okay, so I'm like, there are mashup parties. Oh my God. So, I was also in my favorite club at the time because I didn't have so many clubs so far yet. Right. And I remember telling to my cousin, who also lived in Berlin at the time, it's like, we are going there. Komme was wolle. We are going to this mashup party because I fucking love mashups. And I've never heard a mashup outside my own house, and we are going there. So I saw this flyer, and also the flyer said, if you are dressed in a pirate outfit, you can get in for free, or you can basically pay whatever you want. I'm like, right. Oh my God, me, just moved to Berlin, but still being kind of poor. I'm like, oh God, yeah, I'm going to dress like a pirate, because what do I love more than costumes, right? So I'm going there, dressed like a pirate, to this weird mashup party. I show up there, looking to the left, looking up to the right in the line. No other fucking idiot is dressed like a pirate.
You're the only one dressed like a pirate.
Of course I am. Except for this one girl I see over there in front of the line. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only stupid idiot. Okay, so I go there. I pay my €1 entry, and I go in. And a few minutes later, what do I see? Like, of course, this one other pirate dressed girl is part of the show. She's on stage. It's like, oh no, and it's you. And I'm like, oh hey, she's really hot. Like, hello. Okay, so, and then this was also sort of exactly the moment when you were suddenly singing Closer, like the mashup of Joan Jett and Nine Inch Nails. And again, I just came from a small city to the big city. This was the first time that I left my house and heard a Nine Inch Nails song outside my own home. Oh, and wow. This meant a lot to me. Okay, so I'm like, all these things happening. Oh my God, like hottest girl I ever saw is singing one of my favorite songs back in the day. So of course I had to make out with you. This was my mission for the night. So I'm like coming up to you, fucking stalking you till you finally surrendered and made out with me in the bathroom.
Yeah,
And
basically.
basically that's what happened. Yeah, but we kept, losing each other, seeing each other, losing each other, and
Club life. Yeah.
club life. So the club closed, but I was one of those stupid, annoying drunk girls. I somehow lost my earring in the club. So I was one of those stupid idiots who were standing in front of the closed gate of the club, arguing with the bouncer that they have to let me back in because I lost my earring. I just want my stupid earring back.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah, the
was that
bouncer's
person.
totally gonna do
Yeah.
that. They're gonna.
There's like, whatever. And then like look to the side like, hot makeout girl. And then we made out again, and I just kind of remembered you saying something weird to me, but I just could not remember what you said.
Have a nice life.
Yeah. Oh, it took me weeks till I figured this out. So, and then cut the next morning, I wake up on my sofa, like, fuck, because I did not make it to the bed this night. I was too wasted. My cousin was sleeping in my bed. I just made it to the sofa. I'm like, what the fuck? I had so much fun yesterday, but what the fuck was it? Who did I make out with? Let me Google them, because like, check, were they really hot or were you just wasted?
Oh right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh no, they were really hot. And then, I ended up, all I remember something, booty, Adriana. Yeah, okay, I found it pretty easily too. So I'm like, wait, you're in Munich next week? No fucking way. So this is fucking fortunate at this point because I just moved from Munich to Berlin. I was already planning to go back to Munich this weekend to meet up with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
so you weren't just stalking me?
I were not just stalking you. I know nobody fucking believes me when I tell the story, but this is kind of proof to me. Just like
I know it totally.
this is fucking destiny.
I know it totally does sound like right. You went and you okay, stalker.
Yeah, no, but seriously, I'm like, okay, this cannot seriously be true. But okay, this is your last tour stop in Germany, and I'm like, let's just fucking go there. I mean, the worst thing that will happen is like you think, okay, stalker, and just not talk to me. And like, okay,
Yeah.
but still, I enjoyed the party, the music so much that I will just, give you an awkward wink, and then you ignore me, and that's fine. Then I go. So, yeah, I went there. Not quite the case, no. And also because at this point I spent a month in Berlin. I was already used to getting into clubs as I am and not as being posh, which I'm not. So I never belonged to Munich, really. I don't know how I could live there anyway to begin with. But because I was so stressed about, oh my God, what if they don't let me into the Munich club? I was horribly overdressed. I was wearing this completely way too cute red dress because I'm like, I'm in Munich. I don't know how people behave here. I don't know. I really want to get to this club to, have the party again, see you again. So I was wearing this way too fancy red dress, completely overdressed. I walked in there and, I had some fun. I hung out with my friend there. And then, I gave you this look and you eventually saw me and you just could not believe your fucking eyes.
I literally did this, didn't I?
You did that. You did. It was so weird.
Like, what?
Who does that?
What are you doing here? Like, what?
I liked your party, and if there's any chance, if we could continue a little makeout session, I'll be there for it. Because, I'm fucking in Munich anyway. What was I supposed to do? Not come? No.
Yeah.
So, we hung out. We went to Botox place together. We hung out.
DJ Botox. Yeah. He was the just for listeners, DJ Botox. We love him. He started Booty Munich and is the one who always has the after parties at with the flat full of drunk people. So it was like, I love that he was very instrumental in this story.
Yeah.
And he cooked us really good omelets.
So good. Yeah, and then at some point during the night, Adriana tells me, meet me tomorrow in Budapest. No, in 2 days. Meet me in Budapest. Meet me there. I'm like, okay. Fucking wasted as fuck, right? But then the next day when we met again to have a few more beers, she repeats, so you repeat, like, I was not kidding, like, meet me tomorrow. And, looking at the calendar, well, tomorrow is May Day. It's a holiday in Germany anyway. I don't have to work. There's really no reason for me not to go. So this was another one of those very fortunate, weird timing things. And like, okay, I'm going to do it. And we just fucking had the greatest time together.
I know. I was actually really looking forward to us being in Budapest again.
Me
Because
too.
neither one of us have been to Budapest since 8 years ago when we, had that, secret, before sunrise, 17 hours. We're never going to see each other ever again. Let's just make every moment count. And so I was really looking forward to like quarantining with you in Budapest for 2 weeks. But I am actually quite happy that I'm just going to fly directly to Germany. Knock on wood. I'm still worried that something weird is going to happen in the next 2 days. It was like, oh, whoops. No, we changed our minds. Unmarried couples are no longer allowed.
If it's not on paper, it is not real in Germany.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I remember the time when you sent me this, I have a drunk idea text. I was just at a lounge party of one of my clients. I hung out with a few coworkers. I was just in the U-Bahn back in the day when I was still driving the U-Bahn on the way home. And I'm like, I wonder what she means. What the fuck?
Oh, this is the drunk text.
The drunk text when you invited me
to Las Vegas. Yeah.
Exactly. And this was one of those things where I'm like, well, okay, that is weird because the exact days you asked me to come is the exact days I already took off. Like, I had vacation anyway. I already took those days off on my work because I wanted to go to a festival. I'm like, this cannot fucking be true. This is like the third time in a row where our magical schedule lines up in a weird way. Like, well, what am I supposed to do? I am not going to get into the way of destiny here.
Well, Choopy Choops, we used up all that karma of like perfect timing with each other back then because the past 5 months have been like we paid the price for it. Like that was like the worst.
It was a little weird because when I was back last time we saw each other was on March 10th, and on the way back here on the plane was when all the travel bans were decided. So when I landed back here in Germany and turned on my phone again, got all the news, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, literally, you flew on a Tuesday. And on Wednesday was when the travel ban happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I mean, this was kind of weird as well because, as I said, my friend was just about to give me his car. I was already packing for my 2-week trip in Budapest, and this is when suddenly Germany changes their fucking minds and allows you back in, really.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm so looking forward.
It's weird, but it's still magical in a way.
It is. It'll be hopefully a lot easier. Like I said, even though we're not going to be able to relive our Budapest moment from 8 years ago, it will just be nice to not have to every border. I mean, that was like five borders, and be like every time you hit a border and you need to go through a border check, someone could easily just look at my U.S. passport and be like, "What the fuck," So
yeah. Yeah, but this is also the reason why I'm not DJing today, even though I'm here, because I was actually supposed to, pack the rest of my suitcase in an hour, get into a car and drive to Budapest because tomorrow is going to be the hottest day of the year where it's going to be 34 degrees. And
34 degrees
drive
for
very
Americans, that's like 90, that's like 95 degrees or something.
Yeah, and as I know from experience, if you drive in a car during a hot day, this is always so when the Klimaanlage breaks. And I mean, I love heat, but, being super hot in a car in a traffic jam is even slightly too warm for me.
Wow.
So I wanted to drive really early, but now that I don't have to, I'm like, give me that beer. So, okay, here's this beer. So once this interview is over, I'm going to open my little Löschzwerg.
Can we cheers each other?
Can totally cheers each other. And the chat pod should cheer with us too. So
no, you're doing it wrong.
What?
No, wrong way. Okay,
Wait.
wrong way. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Our timing's off. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Ding.
Tink.
There's so
Oh,
much
wait.
delay. Who the fuck knows?
I know, right? No, did you look at me? You know it's
I was
bad
looking
luck
too.
if you cheers and you
I
don't
look
look at
at
the other
your
person.
eyes here, not into the camera eyes. Okay, this is so confusing. I will be glad when this camera delay adjustment is going to be over because shit is hard. Shit is hard.
All right. Well, story time is over. We did it. I hope, Chat Pod, that you that you are not disappointed in our meet cute story. Like I said, it's a little bit more meet scandalously. It was like there was a lot of complications with Jupiter and I coming together, but it was very much I've never been more in love in my life, and I'm sure I will never be as in love ever again. So, yeah, I'm so looking forward to seeing you in. Oh my God! Now I know I had the hours and days like in my head for Budapest. Now that I'm flying directly into Berlin, I have to like redo the math. But I'm seeing you in 3 days. 3 days.
Sonntag,
Friday,
Montag,
Saturday,
Dienstag,
Sunday,
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, 3 days for you. For three, I think it's 3.5. Whatever. These people don't care. They just want to. They want to go to summer camp. They want to dance. All right, Joopy Joops. Ich liebe dich.
Ich dich auch. Bye, Pooks.
And I will see you in a few days.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That was Jupiter Gatling. The love of my life, and also has been the booty mashup secret weapon. And we met. She was a mashup fan, and now she is a mashup DJ. I love that that this has happened. And I love that you guys love our story. It's like a show like this, they often can feel very self-indulgent. It's like, everyone, aren't we cute? It's like, I know when I see people's like, couple goals posts, I'm just like, but yeah, hopefully our torrid, scandalous tale was was entertaining in the least.